think we are good to go.
All right. I guess we can call the meeting to order. The Municipal Truth and Reconciliation Committee meeting for Monday, March 25th, and it's 11 a.m. right now. So we'll call the meeting to order. Okay. And number 2 on the agenda, introduction of amendments to the agenda. Anybody? No? Okay.
I'm going
Confirmation.
to let you know that Brian has given regrets. He will not be able to be his delegation.
Okay. Confirmation of the agenda. Who wants to move? Please. Mario. I guess now we should just. I'll just say welcome, everybody. I know I haven't been around, been traveling, to different things. And, I guess, who else would, maybe we expect is Eileen? I don't know about Alana,
And then about them.
Naomi,
I did not hear from me.
and Raymond.
Raymond had said he was coming. I don't know if the weather has
Yeah.
already started at all.
Okay. Yeah, all right then. I guess, we could just get going here. Declarations of pecuniary interest, there are none. Number 4, adoption of the minutes from January 22nd to February 20th, the January 22nd minutes. Hi. Come and have a seat. There's Alana. Alana and Eileen. Is there? Okay. January 22nd, and February 26th. Yeah. And so shall we accept these minutes, adopt the minutes, okay? And who's gonna move? Joan? Second, okay. Okay. All right, so move, seconded, everybody approved? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Carried. Now, the business arising from the minutes, it says none, but if anybody wanted to raise anything. We still didn't do the land acknowledgement, right? Are we gonna talk about that later on? No?
Yeah.
We had to look at the plan. I thought it was supposed to go to last year. First. Oh, right. I sent it to Brian and he was going to forward it on. More to that.
We'll just say that the land acknowledgement has been, is still,
It's in progress, yeah. We didn't want to proceed without Laxo's formal. And since they weren't at the meeting, we wanted to make sure they,
If you don't mind.
well, they want us to say a land acknowledgement at every meeting, so we just want to make sure that we have like standardized land acknowledgement.
Because we had one before and,
We don't seem to have that.
oh, okay,
no,
so
it was just the mayor.
He just-
who would-
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah.
did it, okay.
Everyone did.
Oh, okay.
And then we did the same thing with the police services board. We reviewed the the land acknowledgement, and that's what they want us to do, a standardized one that Stephanie had done up.
Yeah.
But I wanted a little change there. I wanted to include the wording for one noun gun be included in the land acknowledgement.
I think it is upon one of the papers.
I think we need to use a little bit of
Yeah.
language for the original name of this place. Yeah, so.
So I think that's what they've done, yeah, with it.
Okay, so that was a little thing I noticed from the January 22nd and then the February. Having a quick glance here. Terms of reference.
That was back in the sector lesson. Yeah.
Yes, the letter was sent to her.
Yeah.
I guess that's about it. I had a question. Okay, so we'll just move on then to number 6. The delegations, presentations, and committee presentations. The Sioux CEO to speak with committee regarding cemetery bylaw and renaming of Centennial Park. So he's not here.
Yes, we'd like to move it until next month. He had something else booked.
Okay, so that shall be deferred to next meeting. Renaming of Centennial Park, what did they call it? Does anybody know?
We returning, no, right?
No.
It's just this is something you could discuss, I guess. Okay.
We discussed it last year. Correct? It was, yeah, Mayor Lawrence brought it up.
Yeah,
Didn't they sort of decide that was the results of naming Humberville Park to focus on? I think that's what they sort of decided the results were.
That's what the committee wanted to discuss. And Brian had provided some information that he was going to present. He did provide me with like a copy of the information, but he's going to speak about it next month. So I will send like the letter to the committee in the package after this meeting. But like what he's speaking to is like the big book. So we'll wait on that one.
and the next item under 6, Terry Lynn Jewell to discuss the Sioux Code anti-racism sign.
All right. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon now. So well, the reason I requested this, Darlene, as I mentioned to you, is I understand there's some discussion now about, well, I think the council has approved something in the budget for new signs in both at the north and south end of town where they were previously. And I believe that Nicole Carboni has been involved in I think the students are working on a design. So my interest is actually that the logo for the anti-racism committee, which was active for 30 years in the community and was designed by Abe Capipedum and was called Working Together. The original artwork is at the library. I don't think it's hanging right now. But I just think that it's really important that logo be incorporated into whatever is decided about the final sign. So I'm just here advocating for that.
Like which side specifically though?
The working together signs that have been up
Yeah.
by
Yeah, but who's working on it though?
Well, I'm not sure. I was told that Nicole Carboni has a group at the high school of students.
She presented last month that she was going to work with the, one of our classes to redo the signs.
And they're gonna fundraise the money, so it's what they're going, it's called Change in Society, I think the course, it's a university level course. So her students have chosen to do this project. And they're gonna fundraise $10,000. The money that we've given has come from this committee, it's only $500.
Why?
And she's going to go to the, I believe, the Chamber of Commerce to see if she can get some of the mat tax and some other partners. And they're really in the early stages, so we can certainly, that's a good idea, say that, you know, for historical purposes, we believe that that the anti-racism logo should remain. And reach out to Nicole, you know. Say that, you know,
Okay,
Yeah, she was thinking to incorporate, because there's, you know, the lookout has changed
right.
since then. And she was thinking maybe the students would want to incorporate some new things. But it would be incorporate new designs or new images or something
Yeah,
to
right.
reflect the new, to reflect
Yeah.
the new nature.
I think that's a great
Yeah.
idea because Sulacota is becoming more diverse. So that would be great. But like I said, my concern was that I think it's really important that the logo be incorporated in some way into that sign. So,
Yeah, and sort of her concept too was that the younger generation taking this on as their own issue and seeing what comes out of the minds of youth.
right.
So, yeah, so I think we can do that. Do we need a motion or what do we need to do?
If directed staff can reach out to Nicole and request that the logo be incorporated as part of the design process. I don't believe the students have started any of the design process at this point, so.
I think we should just maybe have a discussion with the class and students themselves as opposed to like this committee directing those students, because I think it would be more impactful if you talked about, you know, as opposed to just if
Right.
I were a kid, you know, just saying,
Yeah. So to talk about the history
yeah,
and,
reach out to
And-
Nicole
and-
Carboni, and I think it would be more beneficial.
yeah, no, that's fine. I just thought that this would be, it would be good to talk to the committee first. And I can certainly reach out to her.
Have we discussed locations? Like, you're talking about,
The signs already exist, so I think we're just gonna replace them.
oh, is there one to Hudson? Is what I mean, where I'm going with this. Do we have like a sign in Hudson, like you're coming into Hudson?
We are replaced, so this is like unrelated. We are updating the welcome sign to Hudson. That's in the works right now with the map tax funding as well. But it's just like a welcome to Hudson signs.
Yeah, but are we gonna, like a working together sign coming into Hudson? I think it'd be good if we put one there.
Yeah, I don't know the sheets gone of that because
Oh,
it's,
okay.
well, it's.
There is some
$5,000
existing signs that are
Yeah.
kind of dilapidated, like.
Yeah,
Right.
I just think
Yeah.
it would be nice if we included Hudson in on this, and plus it's on the way to Lac Seul, so
But again, we're sort of not driving the project, it's her project. Just sort of support it.
Right, and I didn't want to like, yeah, I just wanted to be tactful
Yeah,
in the approach, so I thought I'd talk to you folks first. And certainly, I could, should you reach out to Nicole or should I reach out to Nicole? What's your thoughts about that? Should I
just
just,
like Lana's idea, like she said, for you to show up as a member of the committee for years and speak to them directly will
Yeah.
have more impact.
okay,
But
Yeah.
I used to be on the committee as well too, right?
yeah,
Anything else, maybe could people, I'd be involved in together, so we just cover both bases. Like I go with you,
oh, that would be great,
just kind of cover both bases, right?
yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. So I'll call her and then connect with you, like, around,
Yeah.
see what she has
I still
available.
have the same email, so you can. Yeah, maybe.
Your email hasn't changed. Yeah, Okay, so that was basically what I thought was important. And also to invite you to the multicultural feast on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That has not happened for a long time, so anyways, that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Darlene, I was thinking I might take you over to the church after.
Yeah, sometime, not today.
Not today?
We got a meeting.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'll call you or, oh,
Okay, great.
okay.
Hudson idea is really, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You never know, they might get really lucky with their fundraising because people seem to be passionate about this project. They might be easily able to come up with that much money. Yeah.
And I can't remember, who did we say the money was to go to?
It's gonna go to the school board.
The school board.
Yeah.
Putting a sign up prior to Hudson would be MTO.
Yeah.
They own the road right away and they're sticking.
You'd have to think about replacing the existing signs are.
Yeah, this is sign has to be the same dimensions. Yeah, stuff.
They got all sorts of rules and regulations, yeah.
Just like, can we just do this range? Easier to, what's to say, it's easier to apologize and ask permission.
They'll just take it down. You did that with Jake brakes going into Hudson and they were dead against using, you know, like we were saying, you can't use Jake brakes coming into Hudson.
Yeah.
They took it down. Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
That's it for the presentations. Anybody else? Have any? Oh, okay. Then we'll move on to item 7, items for discussion. So 7.1, follow-up regarding from Terry letter.
So I was to contact him, so I did. And, you know, inviting him to come and talk about the project he was working on around the names and the land. So he couldn't come to this meeting, but could come to the one in April. If it depending on the date. Are we thinking 22nd? Or Monday?
Yes.
Okay. So he may be able to come to that one.
I know an email was sent to Tom Terry saying that we would get back to him, that the mayor would get back to him. Did the mayor ever get back to him?
I don't know that the mayor ever did get back to him. I know when the package was handed to me, the email address was not on the ballot. And neither was the phone number.
So I apparently still have the right number in my computer.
No, number 2, it says review of work done by committee.
We talk about doing banners with calls to action and publishing around town various events. So maybe this will look at the quotes right in your back, so they're in our package, okay?
And the one behind it. They're very close in price, between the two, depending on if you want the premium or the not premium.
This is the signature you drive, what's it? That's it.
They count,
Count?
they count, they're both the same.
Couple of things.
Yeah, they got this in first. Yeah, I reached out to him for,
So they're doing printing.
yes,
Because I was one the other day to ask them about printing and I was told they weren't doing printing any longer.
unless they're sending it out, I don't know, this is the quote they gave me, so.
Okay.
And so this sheet for the calls to action for these, have these previously been identified as the ones that they're missing. Should go on this.
So if you look at the AMO document, the last page, we see the number 6. And these were the ones that recommendations were made for. Now, that was the previous committee in 2017, which is why I did provide the list of the calls to action relevant to municipalities for you to review and discuss. But we did kind of jump ahead to number 3 instead of working on number 2, the review and work done by committee to.
I was thinking this was working.
Well, I put the standards and stuff under the calls to action, because I wanted you to take a look first at like the work that's been done by the committee previously and make sure that we're kind of within the same scope.
This is signature drive.
It's through Sea Lookout, though. I did email Sea Lookout. That's just their email address.
The owners.
What actually was the quote for that part? Oh, I see it, sorry.
The big difference between economic and green. It's a big difference in quality.
So is this the quality one and this the economy one?
This one here says the.
Which one's called?
Who's to set up the, what is that?
That's convention design.
Oh, okay.
You're getting 10, you can only pay the 7
Unless they're on average.
Yeah, unless you change. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Then are we gonna vote on which one to go with, or?
I did want to say that I did discuss this with Brian, because so far he's been reviewing everything that's come forward. And he wanted to know, as far as the standards go, like how is that within the scope of the work of the committee? Like you said, you want to take them and set them up places, but where and why? You wanted to make sure that that's being considered before money is being spent. Additionally, the work plan does need to be approved before any further money can be spent. I was unaware of that before we did the $500 to the high school. The work plan has to go to council. He said normally it goes before February, but because wasn't aware of that, they can take it in May.
Just to feel like where to put it up, like.
Well, what's the point of them?
I think the purpose of them isn't it to educate the public on what the calls to action are. Like if you go to the arena for the hockey tournament, it would be nice to see what the calls to action for sports are. And they are where the public is, like the general population doesn't necessarily know what the calls to action are. The truth and reconciliation means everyone needs to participate, and you can't participate if you don't know what it's about. And especially with us having the newcomers constantly to Sioux, Sioux is a very transient population of people. I mean, you can do a huge amount of work one year and then you still need to do that work again over and over and over. So I think that what our goal was, and am I not correct, is to educate the public on what their role in truth and reconciliation is. And I mean, there's various events around town, and like, you know, if you go to the police station to make a complaint about something, it would be nice to see you know, the ones about law. If you go to the school, it would be nice to see the ones around education. If you go to the hospital, it would be nice to see the ones around healthcare.
So is the idea to purchase the communities and leave them there?
For a period of time, or if there's an event, like, you know, we could, like, a big tournament in town, we can, the staff at the rec center could pop them up when needed and take them down. You know, we could have staff move them around at the library, different places. You know, like it's a multicultural feast, it'd be lovely to have them all there. You know, like it would be a tool that we would have in our toolbox to educate people.
So how many, what do you think?
Depends on what we would decide of which ones we wanted to publish, right?
So I think, yeah, in terms of like how we go about. Where it's gonna go, like I think we need. And that's probably gonna have to be part of our monthly meetings, okay, what's coming up that we need to direct staff to put them out, right? It's not just for NFL, it's over. We need to direct the staff, say, hey, this means coming up, can staff do this, right? So it's probably what, for every meeting, we need to be on top of it, what that's coming up, where it's like. I think that was what's the where we want to focus the education.
Well, I think you also need to make sure to get agreement from the other places, right? Like if you're looking at putting them up, places and having their staff be responsible for them, they need to agree to it.
If they're not in this building. That'd be my suggestion.
Would be a committee responsibility to physically drop them off, or we gonna put them on the municipal staff, like it's.
That would be a committee responsibility.
Right, that's. So that if we're gonna make these decisions, so we all know if one of us has to, just so it's clear. You know, you're doing March, she's doing it, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, so that we're not assuming that the municipal staff are gonna do the job.
So I like the idea that the airport had library and not something.
Yeah.
Those are some key places in the municipal.
Yeah.
So those could be like. Any permit.
Like your form, and then they would move for events, yeah.
And then will this, have we added to the, work plan as well?
That's what she's.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
So
you.
to add to the work plan for the bands, right? Okay.
Yeah, that would be added on to the.
We just say like initiative, pop-up boundary place around town for municipal events.
Or even,
Yeah.
and we could call it an educational campaign.
Yeah, educational campaign.
Ongoing educational campaign.
So yeah, and the status being pop-up banners to be purchased, yeah.
Would it be there's something saying truth and reconciliation, calls to action, and maybe listing what those are, or, you know, the areas, or were you thinking from, say, one that was specific for, say, education to the
So,
school?
see, Megan gave us this sheet that came through. Where this came through, AMO, which is the association that Ms. Proud. And these are the ones they're recommending that we focus on. So there's some for Jordan's principle, enable residential school survivors and their families to reclaim names changed by a residential school system that waiving administration costs, like, so there's a whole bunch of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you focus on these ones. In the future, we can always add. I certainly would like to get them these ones as well.
There's, what I'm still trying to get at is it one sign It goes,
I think it would have to be more than one side because otherwise it would be too small. The printing would be too small and there's no point of publishing something that is not easy to read or too long. So if you had multiple signs with graphics or photographs, whatever, and made them aesthetically easy and easy to read and short, you could have multiple ones.
I can still have to approve the proofs that are done, so they would go ahead and just do it without, us looking at it and saying, okay,
well, I'm assuming this committee's not going to allow input into what was on the banners.
Well, if it's a committee initiative, you would have pretty much the entire
Mhm.
inside of what goes on in the paper.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's what we need to work on first before we.
Well, I think our first step, like Nick said, is getting it onto the work plan, so we can get the work plan approved, so we can actually do it.
Yeah.
So that would be the first step.
Yeah.
So you sort of want us to review the work plan so it can go to council.
Yes, I am supposed to take it in May to council for approval for the rest of the year.
That gives us time to discuss top area presentation.
Mhm.
And possibly add it over. Do we need a motion to add this to the plan?
That's
We can move that we add an education campaign that should.
Second.
And do we need to be specific about it being developing pop-up banners, or is it more general?
That would be a step, I guess we can add a step for it.
It is that, it's fine.
Because that education piece could also include what we've talked about having some sort of display board in the park at Frog Rapids with a little bit of the history and,
Yeah, that would fall.
Okay, so you're talking about. What's it after that?
I think 10 seems like we don't have much money. We only have $2,000 remaining. And they're $250 each before tax, right? So that's big tax. So I think maybe, I mean, we could buy them all this year. We could do 4. We see that for more, we could buy more. Like it would be ongoing.
So just
Yeah.
what we
Yeah.
can afford.
Yeah, so we should sort of focus on 4.
For the Blueberry Festival, just get me thinking about this banner stuff. Doing like what do you call that? When you have to look for stuff.
Scavenger hunt.
Scavenger hunt
oh,
with
yeah.
94 recommendations
Oh.
on rocks or something.
Yeah. Well,
Huge.
Paint them orange, right?
Yeah.
Like an orange shirts on them.
Yeah.
And then have it as a blueberry event. And,
Maybe.
see-
I wouldn't have town.
yeah,
That's great, to know that. I was talking with a few people from Hudson and they're like, we want to have a Hudson activity for this year. Maybe that could be something like a rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let me.
have a rock painting night.
Yeah, and then they can then hide the rocks around.
Yeah, and then the recommendations, I don't know, you could just put them on the paper and glue them on there somehow. Right. Yeah, yeah. So like when you're talking education, everybody will say, hey, this one says, well, that's a little bit of education.
And then if you find it, you get to keep it, you have to do something about it, right?
Well, follow up, yeah, follow up action, rocks to action. Or something like that. I don't know, just a thought. And then eventually down the road, when you do have the banners, redoing them to include the language. Translation on them too,
Yeah.
eventually, but for now, just get it started and. Mhm.
I wonder if some other organizations would support us. I know like, a few years back, where the municipality wanted to put up some signs,
Mhm.
the chamber. They made it a project of theirs and they donated money for, like, all the rural signs are paid for, I believe, by the chamber.
Mhm.
They have a project every year that they're looking for. I'm wondering if there maybe there's other organizations out there that would want to.
We have those blank signs now, because they took down the left, right hotel ones. Right? Cause the 2-year contract went up, so. You know, the ones that was right by the subway underpass, right by the Ed Ariana bypass, those signs were taken down. Yeah, so we can put something there, yeah.
Well, that's MTO again.
Yeah,
They wanted it down, yeah.
something about a 2-year contract, I heard, but I don't know if that's. True or not.
If they're MTO signs, it has to go through MTO.
Now, Megan, with the work plan getting approved, do we have to have amounts attached to them, or just this concept that we're doing is fine?
I believe it's just the concept. I'm not 100% sure, but I can find out for next meeting.
And so then do we need to add Nicole Carboni's project on here, since we gave money to it, even though it's after the fact? Should we add it?
I would say yes.
Partnering?
Yes.
So I can do a motion for that,
Okay.
that we add that our committee is partnering with Nicole Carboni's high school class, and donating $500 towards for redoing the ambulances and the signs.
No, I was just getting your reaction. Yeah, so I'll get that out of them. Like I said, this is all new for me and I'm learning too.
Yeah.
Spread. Oh my.
Because if you look at our plan that we have right now, we've spent $500 on the signs, and we want to spend probably $1,200 on the pop-up banners. And then I know that Darlene had talked about doing a reception, that's not on here either, is it?
Isn't it with the Friendship Center organizational event?
Darlene, and we talked about doing a reception,
Mhm.
so that could fall under develop relationship with the Friendship Center. But if not, we would have to add it on the list. To the work. Do you want to just say that you want to do an event? Because then that way you could do a blueberry event, or you could do any event.
Yeah.
Because you sort of wanted to do an event, didn't you?
Meet and greet, I guess, eh? Meet and greet,
Yeah.
Darcy.
So we have to sort of add it to the work plan if we're gonna do.
Would a meet and greet on its own be a good way to go, or would it be good to tie it in with something else? Such as like the Blueberry Festival, when they have the trade show, where you can actually set up potentially your banners if any of them are ready to go. And you have most of the town coming through there to see that, hey, they're here now.
Yeah.
And you could take potentially some of your money and even print up literature to pass out to people so they know when the meetings are and how they could be involved as a suggestion. Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. First time ever at the Blueberry. Great.
If you get some education, you know, yeah.
Okay, I can add that to the work plan as well. Just I I can put it as a awareness campaign.
Or maybe call an event, so they know.
Okay.
They know where it's.
Yeah. I think that will also make the dollar stretch just a little bit further by having it as something where people are gonna be there anyway.
Mhm. So. Did we look at the work plan? Oh, no, we're gonna do that, right? Under review, it says, okay. Well, maybe we'll just move on now to number 3, 773. Review calls to action. Review cost of standees from local sources, potential to be shared with other organizations. I'm not sure what that means. What
So
the,
during the last meeting, there was discussion that the cost of the standees would potentially be shared with other organizations if they were interested.
Like we could maybe convince the, to do the ones on, to do one on health. You know, we
Good
could
idea.
potentially, convince, Nan Police Force to do one on, you know. There's potential. We could find any resources out there, we would do our main ones and then find it.
About, you know, photographs or, you know, the design of it too.
If we, let's say we decide we want to do that, would you do that actual work? Would we do that actual work? Okay. Because I don't mind doing that, like I've actually run for the Township Business Association, Prince George, British Columbia, ran ad campaigns where I can get people to buy into an ad campaign. And this is sort of the same concept, so I mean, I could. A bit of time. Take that off.
I just need to know a list for some, whatever. With what. Categories, right, you covered, right? Oh, that's this. At the top of my head, I just can't think of schools.
Or it's education.
Yeah, so those categories. Organization. Would you go with the next meeting? That's something.
Yeah, I could do that. I could put together a little proposal, like what categories and who I think would be worth reaching out to and see what's available there. So at the next meeting, sure.
Three B, the airport sign. All wayfinding signs have syllabics at the airport.
And that's true, but that was not my initial.
No, that was just a note so that I remember what to talk about. So as asked, I talked to Ben about the sign that they had. And they said during the
Reconstruction.
reconstruction of the airport, all of the wayfinding signs and the exterior sign for people who are deplaning have syllabics. The only sign that does not have it is the one out front. And that was how they had determined at the time of the redesign that that's what they were going to do. So that's the only update that I have. There is no exterior sign with syllabics, and there was never a plan to put one there.
We got taken to the dump. So I would say it's a truth and reconciliation thing. That the name, because what it was the name of Silicate at the,
One number.
exactly, in
And
syllabics.
syllabics.
And I think it's at airport as well, in syllabics. So why is it not there? All that there is to name Silicate is the big concrete letters round the thing. Which is drawing out. What's that?
It sounds like a small job, but those jobs are never as simple as they seem. Just
Oh, yeah.
coming from just a different background. The other thing is there were public consultations and I'm just, do they have record of the public consultations? Did anyone that we could see if anyone brought up?
I am not sure. I know that there was some public consultation, because even choosing the language or the dialect that the syllabics were in took some effort.
Yeah.
Whether, I don't know what was discussed about the beginning, the sign. I wasn't here then. I can try and find out. I do know though that I have been told that there is not budget for that this year at the very least.
No, fair enough, but it could be in the budget for next year.
That would be a council decision and it would have to go to council.
Yeah, right. Let's send it to council.
I'd actually like to see the public consultation first. Because if there was input, I just, before we go guns and blazing to council here, let's make sure we have all the ducks in a row.
Well, the letter, the directive to council could be to go back and look at the consultation.
They wouldn't need to because they already did. I'm asking as a committee for us, I would just like to have a look at it. Okay. So if we're gonna go to council, it would be nice to have information to back it up.
I will request whatever information they potentially have. I know Ben did say he would be willing to come in and discuss it because he was here during the reconstruction, but
For sure.
he might have more insight certainly than I do on this.
Because I'm sure there would be something, there's, there would have been a discussion or something. Had to have been, so I'm just curious as to, it would just be nice to see.
Who did they consult with?
The community, everybody has an option to go to these things, they're public events usually.
I don't remember.
I don't know, but I would assume most public consultations are advertised in a public events, so.
Yeah.
You're going to find out if there was a.
I will check with the public consultation.
Before we leave that, and look to the terms of reference, there's a piece in the last minutes about the memorial, the 250 memorial in
The way Tim
Yeah.
over there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
because we had some discussion about that. It's actually where it is at the moment is actually on land that's owned by somebody else.
Somebody, yeah, that's what it,
So, but is there a plan to keep any of that or do a new memorial?
no, there was no plan. I mean, there was not much of a plan when it first
Yeah,
started.
I know.
Because it was the mayor, Garnet, I forget who else was there, but,
Mhm.
they put up, the wreaths
Mhm.
which were standing up on the wires at the time.
Yeah.
And then after that, people started adding, toys and shoes, and then we went in there with all these T-shirts and laid them out. And then more people came with shoes and stuff, and then somebody decided we should put them in the shape of a heart. More people came, and then there was drumming, and we sat there for the whole week. It was really hot that week. And so we sat there as residential school survivors, and people seemed to need to come and sit there and just be there and just talk about what had happened. And we just basically told them, well, what can be done now is, well, for the 215, they just felt really bad, eh? When we talked about reconciliation and stuff, we just told them, like, we don't want you to go away feeling bad or feeling guilty, or anything like that. But what you can look at is what can you do in your community, to make people aware of residential school and, come to the Orange Shirt Day walks or events, just do what you can, so. That's basically what we told them while we were sitting there. And yeah, it just grew, and somebody took a drone, footage of that art, and it's just kind of been there all this time. And we took out some of the shoes. Some of them were pretty brand new, and we had loads of them. We took out of there and donated those to the women's shelter and the homeless shelter, the adult type shoes. Yeah. So we did all that, and then we the animals too to the women's shelter, and the other stuff we just kind of left around there. I think the newer stuff we took away before the winter came, and stored it at our trailer for a bit. But yeah, I think we even washed the animals before we gave some of them out. So yeah, that's about it. It's just been informal type display. So I don't know what we would want to do. Like, I know the search is still going to be happening, with the Pelican. So I don't know if people need a place to go somewhere where they would need to commemorate, and where would that be, I don't know. The only other place that was suggested was the Rotary Park. Yeah. Because people seem to go up there for the sunrise ceremonies and
Nice up there.
get-togethers, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's nice up there, yeah. I don't know if we would wanna, get in touch with the Rotary people, maybe?
Is this something that's about doing that? Sure.
We should do.
Yeah, I think we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just. It's just named after.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's not named it. I thought maybe it wasn't owned by them.
No, I think it's because do they still have the Rotary sign? On
I think
the-
they do, yeah.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah.
That. Yeah, and the museum was in behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So I guess the thought was, is someone going to come along and say that stuff has to go?
Well, the property is owned by somebody else.
I know, so are they going to come and take, are they going to develop that land anytime soon?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Gonna get the funding for the housing. No plans yet.
The private individual who owns it. not
Yeah.
us.
Oh, really? Uh-huh.
So we really have no control over that.
I guess the thought was if the person, individual or whatever who owns it decided it had to go, we wanted to make sure that whatever's left there was treated in a respectful way and maybe relocated somewhere that made sense. I mean, it could just come further down the hill onto municipal property. Or maybe move up onto the park where the sunrise area is. But do you think maybe Quaylock or Throck or Arnold might kind of discuss it and decide what they want to do with it?
Our friendship center.
Or the Nature Center, yeah.
Yeah. And then how would we do up in the hill?
There's also thinking too, two lands in Hudson for sale for $1. If someone can buy it, the two lands for sale in Hudson for $1, maybe throw an idea out into the wind, buy the land up for $1.
Yeah.
Then you have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah, that's the only thing, right? Yeah.
The main thing.
Maybe if we think about that and then talk about it again next time.
If anybody comes up with anything. We have probably a couple of months left before the weather starts to,
Yeah,
before the snow melts. And then it would have to be cleaned up, I guess.
I took a look at it, it's mostly just a few, the orange shirt banner.
Yeah.
And then a few things on the other side.
Their banner is signatures. Yes, their banner. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, I guess we'll leave that for another time.
So the terms of reference, we're supposed to review them.
Yeah, it's just right, sorry, for the term check reference, sorry, we're going ahead here. For the membership 2.2, it says mayor CAO. One member appointed from council, 6 for the. So there's a cap on how big this could be, right?
So the set of terms of reference are two more documents, which are bylaws, which are amending the terms of reference.
So,
These weren't listed on our website for whatever reason. Brian gave me this the other day. So that you know that the mayor, CAO are no longer listed as people as of the 2019 budget.
So sorry, where does it come from?
It says bylaw 106-16.
Oh, okay.
So that was the original terms of reference. And then there are 2 pages and 2 one-page documents that are additional bylaws adjusting that original terms of reference.
so yeah, the most up to date is 106-16 passed on 16th day of January 2019, right? That's the most up to date one.
Yes.
That one still says, yeah, the mayor.
Once the CB deleted,
Oh,
And then if you go down, it's where the. thing
Oh, yeah.
deleted.
so yeah, last little.
Oh, I see.
More part.
Okay, now I'm really confused. So. Okay, so point 3. Committee shall be composed of not less than 5 and not more than 13. Mayor, 1 member from the municipal council. And 2 to 11 members in the committee at large. Is that still true?
No, there's the amendments to the terms of reference.
On number 4, this,
Here are the amendments. I guess that's.
Yeah, there is.
That's in-
That's good.
That's
There's a little red line on the side.
So I think that those are going to have to be amended again because the mayor, it says the mayor and one appointed member or council member. We have no mayor and two council members.
If you don't have anyone from the friendship recorder from NAM.
Or from,
So Raymond had said that he was going to attend today. I don't know what happened. I didn't hear from him past that. But he did get back to me originally and say he would be attending. So I'm guessing something just came up today. Unless he didn't realize the time had been changed, but it was in the invitation that he replied to.
And then a representative from NAM, would that be just like an employee or is that? Like,
Probably the organization.
yeah,
It's an appointee. I don't know. Have we ever had a member from Dayton? We have someone.
A couple. I'm trying to think of their job titles, what they were.
She transferred to Thunder Bay and she tried to, but she couldn't.
Yeah,
And she's gonna do it by phone and she really
Yeah.
tried. I forget her name.
yeah.
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 Uh-huh.
Yeah. Her.
We did occasionally, I do remember. Hmm.
I can't remember what she does. Because they do have a reclamation and healing department now. And that is set up to look after the IRS, Indian Residential School stuff. But they call it reclamation and healing. I don't know how they would do it though.
Do they have an office in Sioux?
No,
So
No.
they would have.
yeah, they would have to travel back and
Because we
forth.
can't, like, you're not allowed to zoom into this. one. Not allowed, yeah.
So it's probably worth a discussion. Like NAT's a big organization beyond just the Sioux region, but we have a number of tribal councils and organizations in town to represent Sioux region. Maybe we need to explore what that representation looks like from these local organizations.
Yeah, because they're more,
Involved. Very well.
they're here, but they also serve the north.
Yeah, and it's not much solve it. That should be our job, to bridge that gap. Bring these organizations. to the table. I mean, but there's a lot, so how do we do that? It's extend an invitation to each tribal council, each tribal council here, he has. Each organization. Board is. I don't know, I think we need to re-examine that. And it's. You're not here, you tell. These organizations are there.
The mechanism for them to attend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big problem.
It'd be easier for them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at having that removed, like what I can do is draft up a thing to take to council requesting a bylaw change to the terms of reference. If you believe that you won't be able to find someone for the committee for this, that's why we have amendments.
I think what he's saying is like, in the tribal councils, they sit on the reorganization, so it would make sense. to Have the tribal councils, because then they can go to the organization. Like they would sit on when they have representation and. The different tribal councils. Would they? Not necessarily. But they just were particularly stay in the organization. Makes sense to have it here.
You know, the tribal councils, originally they were set up to save money. They would get 5 or 6 communities to form an organization. And they would pool all their monies to, for infrastructure, the housing and the the road or whatever,
Mhm.
public buildings in their communities. So that's what the tribal councils were mainly set up for, to save costs for housing and other things. So that's what tribal councils were developed for, not necessarily a political organization, whereas NAN is more political, they're the regional level, you know. Yeah, like you have the band councils, you have the tribal councils, and then you have the regional land level. And then you have, well, beyond that, it's the Chiefs of Ontario. And NAN would be like a PTO organization. They're not necessarily all of Ontario. They have the Union of Ontario Indians down south, which are more the southern ones, the North Shore Tribal Council, they have different types of organizations. And then the Chiefs of Ontario, which is all of Ontario. And then after that is the AFN. So there's like 5 different levels of so-called governance, but you don't, some of them are more political and some of them are more service oriented or both. So for this, I think tribal councils are kind of, I'm not sure who they would get to bring to this. But they might welcome, the involvement, I don't know.
I know for myself, I can only speak for myself. Any committee I sit on, I have to report to the leadership, so. Next week, we're meeting. So it'll be reported to for leadership.
You're attending as a member of the organization, not as a member at large then.
So I run their physicians program, so, any committee I sit on or any committees the staff sit on boards, we have to report to our leadership, it's on our agenda, so. We're required to let them know what's going on, so.
Yeah, that's gonna be the idea, right? We want to get representation from the tribal councils. And at least in theory, it should filter up to the leadership and then they would have an idea. Like, they see something they don't like, and they can say, maybe this committee needs to adjust something, right? So there's some accountability. No, it's just an idea. You got
But maybe,
how do we get more district organizations?
yeah. We could have more than one representative, we could get one from, say, KO and then one from Shibogama. Or if, yeah, 2 tribal councils. Friendship Accord partner, well, they would have to be included here, but
Have they ever attended as well? Did we ever, from the very beginning? That's always just for that.
even then we had discussion about being on municipal committee. But meanwhile they live in a First Nation, so there's kind of an area where municipally, I don't know how it falls under this committee, because I think at first the mayor was appointing people. And so it was more or less under his power, right?
That's right, it's in the journals,
Yeah, that's how we started.
Yeah, it was the mayor's committee, wasn't it?
Yeah. But now we're getting into the municipal laws, and I don't know how.
Said the Sioux Mayor's Committee.
Yeah.
So that's part of the section. No, that's part of this, the last one, it was to remove the mayor's committee and make it the Sioux Municipal Troop Reconciliation. So when you make like an amendment to, shouldn't this get changed? It's been amended and I don't know why that's not been done until now.
Yeah.
Because I did not know there were changes until like last.
Okay, so will you as a staff member?
There's no reason I can't.
Yeah,
So yes.
so the next time we get this, it will be all amended and we won't have to.
Yes, update the document and get you all a copy for next time. And then you can determine if there are any additional changes that potentially need to go to council for approval.
But definitely the structure of the committee has changed because, like you said, no one has ever been on it. Friendship before, and
No.
they, and the CEO are not on there. And there's 2 members of council and right now, I guess so it's just 2 members of council and members.
So that would have to change the mayor and the at least 2 members of council.
Or maybe say up to 2 members, 1 or 2. Because I think in the past there was just Joyce, wasn't there?
Well, and the mayor.
And the mayor, so there was 2 before.
Yeah, because it was the mayor and one member of
Yeah, and
council.
1 member of council.
I love the language. This 4.221, notwithstanding section 2.1 herein to the contrary, and in accordance with section 2.2 herein, of the 2.11 appointees from the community at large, the following shall be included. I need a translator for this. Simple terminology. Listen, if we wanted somebody from Nan and they don't live here, and we can't do Zoom, could they come in by telephone?
No, I don't. No, I don't have to be in person. You can't attend a meeting in any remote mechanism. Right now, if we have a bylaw. That things to change.
Why, what's the holdup?
We have to get 4 members of council to vote in
They
favor of
won't,
the bylaw.
they're not in favor?
No, it did not pass last time.
Oh, wow.
So we, I mean.
And some of the issue, I think last time was the cost of the
Was the
equipment.
cost.
We now have the equipment.
Yeah, so it was turned down.
Anyone can join in. I have a cell phone. Everyone has a cell
Yeah.
phone. They could call themselves.
We have to, we're broadcasting, so it has to be, it has to be a mechanism that can be conducive with the equipment that the municipality also. So I mean, I think it is our intention to bring it back to council. Successful, but again. Speak for that, so. I mean, we will continue to try to get to that point because I think there's other committees that will benefit as well. And even like school would not have to drive.
Yeah,
They could just jump on in their own office and do the meeting.
or the rep that we had from Nan, remember?
Yeah, you could do that.
Come from Thunder Bay all the way to here
Yeah.
for one
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're expecting someone to drive 8 to 10 hours to attend this meeting
Yeah.
in 2024. Yeah, so we're still going to continue to work on that and hopefully we will get to a point where, you know, especially on the things that people can.
Do a motion to reconsider,
Yeah.
this need.
So say as the Truth and Reconciliation. So what would the process be if we wanted to send something to council to reconsider the bylaw? Like, what could we do ahead of time? Like, do we need to talk to the other committees and are we all struggling getting people to attend? What do we need to do to put in a report or a letter ahead of time so that when we have council members, you know, who are gonna put it on the table, like how do we support it? Because we could talk about it, but we're blue in the face, but what can we do that? You know?
So that's something that I'm not 100% sure on what becomes a staff resource issue and what becomes a council member sitting on the committee, because you do reports to council every now and again for your things. And I don't know if you mention it first or if I would add it to the report. I can check on that, but I actually don't know the answer. Well, I don't know where that line comes in. And it might be in the terms of reference, to be fair.
Well, because it does say, number 1 responsibility is to make recommendations to council regarding municipal truth and reconciliation commission. And then advocate for appropriate policies at the municipal level of government and provide advice to the municipality on advocacy to other levels of government. But I think we can't, right, I think we can say, yeah.
Yeah, one thing we could do as. Maybe is just have a, well, we can make a motion, right? We support the. Yeah, for. Virtual participation in this committee, right, so in order to increase participation.
Yeah.
As terms of other committees, like, I don't know. How we go about kind of get them.
It would just be nice if we're all struggling and you've got like motions from each committee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Saying the same.
Yeah.
Would council look at this committee as being unique, and we are unique in that we're trying to incorporate a region instead of just a local municipality.
Well, when we did
That's our
the
difference.
motion. Spitler was willing to sit on committee, we were looking for members, and because he is disabled, he would not be able to physically come here. And he said he would love to participate, but it would have to be remotely, and I did bring that concern forward, and it was. Motion is still not successful. So, but I think it would be a worthwhile process for us to do a motion saying that we do support that.
So I am to bring a report to council in May. I can add this to the report because I'm reading the terms of reference and I'm thinking that it would be myself that would bring it rather than members of council. Because it says, request for support materials that are required would be brought by myself and then reports for consideration. So I mean, I can include it in there and then this is something that, we're asking for and council may then direct staff to bring a report on changing that bylaw. So that would go to probably the clerk as for, bringing the report to change it and how it would affect the other committees. I'm thinking how that's
No, yeah,
how that will
I
go.
remember for the environmental committee last year, when we were gonna do that. The Blueberry Festival event to paint the garbage. Candidates, the way that it worked was that as a committee, we had to. Pass a motion that was brought to council, so council can then direct staff. And then double it down to council, so we think we'll go forward with that. But like, I remember the way it worked before was that the committee had to pass a motion and then the staff resource brings that. To Brian or something like that, brings it to council. To be voted on, because I remember being told that it was like only council can. Direct staff, right? That's only council can do that, like not a committee, but the committee can bring it to council to direct staff.
No, I'm saying the committee can ask the staff resource to bring the report to council, requesting that council assign staff to bring a report.
Yeah, because it's like only council can like direct staff of what to do.
Yes, so that would be the council asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to kind of segue back to that, so sorry, while we were speaking, I was kind of dropped in my head. For the Blueberry event, the Rocks to Action, do you want that to be a committee Blueberry Festival event, like hosted by the committee? Where we can, like, I can draft up the Blueberry Festival submission PDF, right? Draft it up, and maybe at the next meeting on the 21st, we can talk about it. We can then direct staff, be like, let's host.
But I think what Niven was saying is first it has to get onto the work plan.
Yes.
The work plan has to go to council to be approved, come back to us before we can do the work.
Okay, if not until August, so we have time.
What I will do after I leave here today is I will update the work plan with the things that we've discussed and send out.
Yeah,
If there are any changes before the next meeting, make them and send them back and we can kind of have a breathing document in the meantime. And that way, when I do go to council in May, because I've got to write the report at the end of April, when I do go to council in May, the work plan should be ready to go, hopefully for direct approval. We'll have to see, obviously, but hopefully it will be as thorough and good as can be.
no, yeah, sorry. So do you want me to draft up the PDF, just to have like a breathing document, we can bring it back and talk about it, because we can host it at the Lost Lake Center for free, so we got that covered.
Who says we can host it for free at the Lost Lake Center?
Because I'm just, because like, since
Yeah.
we there, and like,
It's right, but who says that we can have it for free?
but like, I got the keys.
If it's a municipal property, we have to get permission to have a
Yes.
permit. And have insurance.
What do you mean like tax though? You know, you're like,
In this house.
We have to request it through the municipality.
okay,
And if you're looking for a donation of the space rather than renting, it, you have to request it, but donations are not approved this year.
well, maybe that'd be good, because maybe we can get people in the big, hey, we're trying to get a new Lost Lake Center.
Yeah.
Come on down, let's breathe in the asbestos together.
Yeah.
I have a question about the bylaws, the bottom page 1.4. Foreign partnerships with community groups and government agencies, both within and outside the municipality, to foster responses to TRC calls to action. So outside the municipality, what does that mean physically outside the municipality?
Well, I think that would include some of the, like the Laxton partnership, that the NAM community member partnerships.
Right, so there's the argument that if we are to include someone from NAM or from Whiteside, that we have to be able to communicate with them easily, or they communicate with us, so that's fodder for
Future. Yeah.
or Zoom, which we can do, so there we are.
Yeah.
People don't need.
Well, yeah, well, they could, they could give their cost of travel from the municipality, right? Like, look how much you save by not driving from Thunder Bay and staying a night in a hotel.
For your report, then you're going to report to council, do you think we better have a motion than from the group?
Yes.
Let me get it in the work plan. Let me get it in the work plan, we'll get the work plan approved, and then we'll go from there. Here, okay. If we keep trying to jump ahead and see it done, we do have a process.
You know, reaching blocks, ready to go.
Like I said, I will work on updating the work plan and get that sent out. Next week I'm on vacation. I will try and get it done this week, but I do have a couple things that can't wait until after my vacation that I'm working on. So I will get it to you before the next meeting.
These meetings have to be televised live.
Yes.
We just can't tape it and then.
Edit it out.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just.
Believe the way the program works is it does do it live. I don't know if it can go. I would love if it could be edited, but I'm not sure that it's possible.
Yeah, I'm not saying edited, I'm just saying if we could just.
Yes.
You know what? It's not good sound. If you're listening in.
Yeah, it's very echoey, yeah.
It's very poor sound.
But this one is being recorded the sound differently than the other.
Yeah, this is being done, Chris said, through the speakers that are here. I'm not sure if it's through that little machine or if it's something else. I honestly don't know. It could be this bar up here, it could be the circle machine. Like the robot.
And people can go back later and watch it as well, so.
It's on YouTube.
Like Raymond, if he wasn't able to attend, he could go back and watch it at a later date, if we were coming to speak, or if you miss a meeting now, you could just go back and watch it.
Yeah, as we mentioned in that, like, as I mentioned before I started the recording today, as soon as I start the recording, I'll let you know, and then it's just recording until we adjourn.
Still have half an hour.
Yeah. We don't know what you will happen.
Oh, no, how are we going to review the work plan?
The work plan,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we need to do that.
Okay, maybe we'll just,
And
okay,
I think there's things on here, like we're sort of keeping a running work plan, but wouldn't it be more beneficial, like if we're to remove something and have it back on later when we're actually looking on it?
I can take the things that are like on hold and remove them, for now. But you generally, from what I understand, is you have a 1 year work plan.
Yeah.
This work plan, it will have to be re-updated again and approved again by next year in February, I believe is what Brian said. So you've got, from now until February.
Yeah, so we should really just put on our work plan the actual things that we plan on doing this year. Because you can put them back on, like it's not like, or do you want it to keep running even though it's not on there and say on hold?
Well, I mean, it's good. It's a good reminder of
Yeah.
what we, like, for example, the stuff
You
in
know,
the cemetery,
things, yeah.
it's a good reminder that it's still there, but we're waiting for the Bringing Home the Children project. So, I mean, it's not exactly like 60 pages,
Yeah, it's just,
so it would be all right if it was, cited.
but maybe we should rearrange it so that the active ones that we're working on are at the top.
Yeah, maybe,
It's right
yeah.
at the bottom.
Absolutely.
okay, so we're discussing the work plan right now. Okay, number 8, work plan, under review. So. And we wanted to add education as one of the pieces to this.
Yeah.
And the signed partnership with Nicole's class and the event. Darlene's event, so we've added 3 new things to it.
Like run that education campaign, Brian's question. It's in our terms of reference to do education and for the public about it. Just to justify that work.
We're sort of like the concept of this checking, that the work plan.
That's amazing.
Okay, yeah, that the work plan is like what we're doing is in the terms of reference. So, yeah.
What do we mean by Northway section 1 cemetery? It's on hold. And the reason why I'm saying this is that it's gonna cost money to put this up. And maybe if we put it on hold, it gets shelved. And there's funding opportunities that come to surface that we can lobby for now or apply for now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna cost a lot of money to put this thing in.
But I think the reason that we put this on hold is in it because.
Yeah, I get that. I get that, but yeah.
In our scope right now, where we need to see what they're doing before we can do anything.
Yes.
We can't look for funding or anything like that, you know?
I think
I just would
eventually,
hate that to fly by us and then
Yeah.
now it's time to move ahead and we've got no money. And now we're looking for funding and there's no funding available. That's all I'm saying.
I think eventually there will be funding through TRC. I think they do memorialization stuff.
Oh, okay,
So you could apply for funding eventually.
okay, good.
But for now, we're kind of waiting for Sioux
Yeah.
and to see what happens with their bringing home the children because they will be searching Pelican and what I first understood was that they would be searching behind the hospital too, the old zone. And but I'm kind of heard different things. So I'm not sure exactly what they're gonna do. So I guess that's why it's on hold again. But for memorialization, I think there are fundings out there,
Okay, good.
not just through TRC. I've seen a couple of other little places where you can get money for memorialization. and memorialization, we were just thinking about either a display or a plaque, place where people could sit, over there to, you know, and then we don't know what's gonna happen with the First Nations and then how they're gonna be taking the initiative that bringing home the children. Do they want to have a ceremony? Do they want to have a feast at the site? You know, before all this stuff happens, and who's going to come, and how many people are going to attend from up north? So it might be something big. Yeah, and we're not sure what that's going to look like.
And so for our role, it would be support role.
Yeah.
We would be there,
Yeah.
like they're saying, where can we find this resource? Well, maybe we can find that.
Yeah.
So we're sort of, you know, so maybe our job with this is to just let the powers to be, whoever's doing
Yeah.
it, to let them know that we're here. If you need help, like as committee members, we can run around certain water to elders. We're people that are willing to help.
Mhm.
A committee that wants to support you, but just let us know what we need to do. So we sort of have to just sit on the sidelines until that time comes and be prepared to jump in. Whatever that we're asked to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So maybe Chief will be talking with the mayor at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I did reach out to Ashley Edwards.
Okay.
And she, you know, to say that there was the hope that partner with the Friendship Center. But she wanted to know more information about what was, you know, the scope of this committee. So I actually sent her things. I think those two I sent her, yeah. So I haven't heard back from her since then, because that was just a few days ago that I sent that.
And again, it's sort of the same concept, like we're hoping that the Friendship Center will get to it. They're running a large community event, and we as a committee are sitting here waiting for her to say, we need a little bit of help from you, can you do this? And then we're ready to go.
Yeah. I kind of phrased it that it would be support.
Yeah, yeah.
Working with the Friendship Center, you know, whatever.
All right, then I guess we'll go down to a review of municipal policies through a cultural lens, ongoing cemetery bylaw for review in March. Here we are.
Yes. We'll edit them. And that was Brian.
Yeah.
So I would say April.
Now, would this be somewhere where we're trying to look at municipal politics through a cultural lens? This would also be a good place to look at the policy of the Zoom meetings, you know.
Zoom.
Yeah, that could maybe be our next one once we finish the cemetery.
Yeah, I think if we leave that one, as an ongoing and don't put specifics.
Yeah.
Then as, you know, things are realized.
Yeah.
They can be added under the status.
Yeah.
Committee to review and put forward a new name for Umperville Park. Redirect. This public survey is concluded and the committee has reviewed results. Redirect to Centennial Park. What is this?
We had quite the discussion, like, what are the 2 meetings ago? And we went over all the survey results. We had like, and they were pretty harsh. To the point where I see that we should even entertain that. I think it's out of our scope to entertain, you know, right?
I think the problem with that was, and I made comments to the last committee, is that I think we're putting the cart before the horse. We sent out a survey asking people's opinions based on what? There's no factual information being provided to the public. So even though the public came back with comments, they aren't aware of the actual facts about that area. I think we need to, and I believe Eileen put out a email where you were saying where we would have a information center or something like that, where people could come and find out information. And I thought that was a great idea that you had. Just so that you need the information before you can provide a comment, instead of coffee shop talk where I think this and I think that. And I think that's where Sioux coming from. I really do believe that.
And the comments did reflect exactly what you're saying, and some of the comments were, so there's.
Yeah, I didn't even bother to look at them. I really didn't, because there was stuff in there that it's just not true.
Yeah.
It's just not true. Their perception of what it is. And one other thing I like to recall is that Chief Bull did, when he was talking about renaming that park, he brought up Hill Park, because that was where the Hill family, that's their original homestead. Now, I don't know where he was going with that, but I remember him talking about that.
I don't know, it seems like, it's just called Frog Rapids, and then there's the Ojibwe version of Frog Rapids, right, which is, Municipal, right? And then, but the, Chief Bull was, I think, he had been asked to, search around for elders who might remember the original name of that area, but I think most of the elders are gone now. And the ones that are here do not remember what it was named before. So that was part of the missing piece for the historical stuff. And it's just been named Frog Rapids, you know, all this time. So
Does anyone know, I mean, why was it named Frog Rapids?
yeah, I guess because there must have been a lot of frogs there.
Haven't seen any in the last 20 years there, but.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be interesting.
It's like Iron Bridge, the same thing, just that narrows there. I don't even think it has a name, but I think that's, isn't that Pelican Narrows? And I found reference to it in historical books where when they had the confrontation between the Ojibwe and the Sioux, that I guess was quite the massacre, and there was a lot of Sioux that were killed, and supposedly they have found skulls in that waterway system. And we don't even, what's my point? I think we need some public education. That's what I think.
That's the whole point of being here, right? I know there's a lot of comments in there. We've seen the history of Albertville, like, well, Indigenous history has been erased.
Yeah.
Reclaim that, right?
Yeah.
That history has been erased. I think that whether it's the park or just
Mhm.
general things.
Because I read that book that Umfreville, he wrote himself, and
It's
yeah, like it wasn't a very good book. I really didn't. It was amazing.
You know, Aline, who was here talking about the work project, she followed his journals in a boat. Vera Camino was there too. And they followed his journals by looking at landmarks that he describes. And you don't go to what we call Umberville Park. It would have been just a little bit further east. There was like a portage across there, sort of by Ojibwe Bait. It's in that area. And so there's a beach there where people probably camped. And there's a portage obliterated now by building, but we think that's probably where they crossed over. Because they wouldn't have gone by Frog Rapids, because it wouldn't have been, they would not have crossed there. And it's, if you go west of Frog Rapids, it's pretty steep and, not a good place to portage, whereas the natural portage is just east there, so.
Okay.
Didn't land at Upperville Park.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just.
but the majority of people believe that that's the exact spot.
But I mean, it's not actually anywhere labeled Upperville Park. All of it is the plaque, the sort of erroneous plaque put up by MTO.
Yeah, he may have passed
There's
there.
Umferville Park and then there's the other
Yeah.
Umferville over there.
Yeah.
Like, is it just going around naming himself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of these names are very arbitrary, like, okay.
Yeah,
Says it's pretty arbitrary.
And like half the towns are just named by the first guy. Horn Payne's named after Horn Payne, Dryden named after Dryden, Ignace was named after Ignace.
The Norwich, no, it was a Welshman who was on the crew. And when they stopped there, somebody was said, well, what do you suggest we name this place? And it was a Welshman from a little town in Dinorwic in Wales.
Yeah, I
Who
see.
said,
Yeah,
let's call it Dinorwic, up in my hometown.
yeah, it's like to you and not to you.
I think the idea, with one of some input from Brian, we'll talk about staying up front. More accessibility for the things of just locally in town. Right? Bringing back some of those names.
well, I mean, if we're looking to decolonize, look at all these streets here. King, Queen. Rename those.
Yeah.
Where do you get the budget for that?
Yeah, I know, yeah. But
It's
a thought.
really good. I was in North Wales when they started renaming all the streets in Welsh. Well, first of all, they painted out the English signs and then put up ones in Welsh.
But you think long term, right? Like, what's the initiative we can do? Get this done for this slowly we're just not gonna. It's a long term process.
And it would be nice to see Centennial Park be improved too, so, this, the first project is gonna go in this summer, is the public washroom. So with that happening, who knows what else, and they are doing the study to what's going to be in the downtown core, so this is sort of an opportunity. Because it's at a changing point anyways, if change is happening, it would be a good time to make a change.
And so I can tell you a document that Brian gave me about this name of Centennial Park was, now this is all research that Mary McKenzie did for him recently. So the Centennial Garden, or a floral map of Canada, was a project the Royal Canadian Air Force members stationed in Sioux Lookout initiated in 1966 and dedicated in September of 67. The purpose was to commemorate Canada's centennial. It appears it was constructed jointly and planted by military and civilian members of the RCAF, based in Sioux Lookout at the time. Although they can't say for sure, they think it was non-military community members involved. It does not appear that the community was consulted or determined a name for the park and garden, and then it just arose organically. That's pretty much what we have. They don't know when they stopped using it as a garden, when it was decommissioned. They think sometime in 1973. No, I know, and it's not on the work plan. I know, you did talk a little bit about, and I know some members weren't here, which is why I'm mentioning it. Instead of renaming the entire park, putting like a section of the park with the name. I know there had been talk of, like, in the past, a garden inside the park that had like the 7 teachings painted on rocks and things like that. And maybe that's a little bit more within the scope rather than renaming an entire park. I don't know how you feel about that. If that was people in this room right now that had mentioned it, I'm actually not even sure.
Yeah, sort of like the concept of that the United Church has done with the Peace Guard. Do something within the park that's, yeah, culturally appropriate and has more of an indigenous element to it. And we could name.
There are big boulders.
Yeah, they.
How many are there
4 or 5 things
Where,
in the circle.
in the park at the train station?
During a circle in the park.
Oh, yeah,
Those
yeah.
boulders? They
There's
put
one
them, they
big.
took out all the seats.
well, if it's the 7 teachings, it would be 7.
7.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I think they
Oh, no, they-
said they were grandfather stones. I don't
Yeah.
know that,
Oh, okay.
but that's what I'd heard.
Grandfathers, what's grandfather?
7 grandfather teachings.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
there-
one
Oh,
each
yeah.
stone.
Grandfathers,
Yeah.
in the culture, lots of. Yeah. So that, so in that rock, we call. What we call.
The entrance to to many hours. Grandfather rocks in different direction.
It's sort of.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's sort of.
yeah. And there. I can't remember who was the guy who was working there at the time, but he talked about. He was up very early putting the last of those rocks in, rocks in place. And it was the one in the east, and as he was doing that, the sun rose right over that rock.
So do we want it, we definitely want to leave this item on. And then.
Yeah.
You wanna leave it as renaming of Unfreeable Park or is the redirect?
What do you want? What do you think, Darlene?
Direct, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in terms of Bumpy Hill, that could be part of the education thing. So as well as the banners, that might be like some boards that, a little bit of the history. And one could be at Frog Rapids Park. And one could be at some train station park.
Okay, we'll move on to the workshop. Ongoing research local workshops, example blanket exercise to provide to public.
It's not too prosperous. If we're gonna do a blueberry festival booth and be there all day, if we could do like a little mini workshop, on something. And if we would have to find. To do it, we're not very much, but, if we could, that would be an interesting. Way to incorporate it like into our own event. Like Megan said, like when we say workshops, like who are they for? What is your goal of the workshop? Like, is it, when would you have it? Like, how would it play out?
And then there's the cost.
Yeah, the cost, workshops are very expensive, and are we duplicating something that someone else is already doing? And if we're duplicating something that someone else is already doing, would we be better to partner with them? And if they're paying, and we could invite a few members of the public type thing,
There was a speaker there, but the workshop was for people who are working with Indigenous people to learn about IRS, Indian residential schools. And I was the IRS student. I had a PowerPoint, I did that. So it was kind of like a cultural education, well, just from the IRS point of view. I don't call myself a knowledge keeper or anything like that, but and then they had an intergenerational person who was supposed to speak, and they didn't show, but they ended up doing it somehow. So that's the kind of workshop that was done about a month ago at the Forest Inn. And it was done by, I don't even know the organization, because he jumps all over the place, that guy.
Is that not Roots to Reconciliation?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, they came to hostel too, right? Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
No, that's a different one.
No,
You're
Yeah.
from Winnipeg, right?
yes,
There was one,
I went,
okay.
I went to that one.
Did you go to that
Yeah.
one? Okay.
Yeah.
They cost money.
They cost money
Yeah.
and I'm not sure who provided the money,
Yeah.
but anyway, it was Lynn Marie Maltarabi who
Under
organized that.
Stefna or
Yeah,
something.
probably.
And that would be a valuable information,
Yeah,
because I think that newcomers to Sioux Lookout who are working here do truly genuinely have an urge to grasp that knowledge. They're interested in it. So I mean, if we're gonna run a booth at the Blueberry Festival, it might be worthwhile that if we could have someone there, just come have tea with an elder and discuss this, you know, and have these conversations.
What about the, like, we have this call action, assistance line or three, like libraries, with resources, public education, sort of partner. Municipal partner libraries for speaker bench sharing circles around residential schools, whether we could expand that idea into something ongoing with the library, right, Tom?
Yeah.
And if we can keep costs low, you would just be, hopefully maybe run the space, but we could, if you invite a speaker or a residential school survivor, you know, you just give the cost a little bit lower. I mean, then you're encouraging access to the library.
Yeah.
then there's things like the blanket exercise too for the public. Falls under, I would say, education, public education.
We've done quite a lot of those over the
Mhm.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've done them with Quay Cheeling and we did one out at Pelican. I'm thinking that it might have been 2 years ago. It was at the gym in the right side. I think it was during the Blueberry Festival. And Victor and
yeah.
Terry Lynn
was in
and I
that one.
did part of not the whole blanket exercise, but we did that, you know, the timeline,
Uh-huh.
which gives you a kind of perspective of, you know, how long people have been in the line.
Yeah.
And then you get to the end, and this is a little bit like the European experience here, but it kind of gives that whole perspective. And there were a few people came, not very many, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the trouble is you need space to do that too,
Yeah.
you know.
The blankets, yeah, we had it in the parking lot one time at the
I remember
hostel.
that. Yeah,
They-
all
they-
the way
they
along,
didn't.
yeah, all the
yeah.
way along.
From the front
Yeah,
to the back,
Yeah,
and
no,
then the
that was-
blankets all over the parking lot.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
great.
yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And then I went to the one at the hospital,
Uh-huh.
basement, I think. they
Yeah,
had one there.
and then, yeah, and then.
Yeah.
Size.
Yeah.
And that was big, big.
Well, I think there's
Yeah, space there. And then the other thing I would think about is cultural, like for workplaces, I mean, with the hospital and everybody getting hired from different places, so when they come here to Sioux, do they realize what's going on with the Indigenous people, right? And I know people coming to work in the health field and, you know. How do we know if they're being trained under cultural?
What I'm hearing is under the work plan, we're looking at really beefing up that education section.
Yeah,
And like, if you did put together, like, if you were looking at educating people who are coming from other places about the area and the people who are here and the culture that's here.
Mhm.
And we had talked about at the Blueberry Festival or trade show, potentially putting out literature, maybe getting additional literature printed and providing it to the area employers to provide as part of their orientation, if they're interested in doing so, would be a great idea as far as working and forming those partnerships.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, obviously that depends on if they're willing to do so, but I mean, it's something that potentially has low cost, high impact.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, about, you know, getting the library involved, like something ongoing, where it's not like one big workshop, it's one and done.
yeah,
You
yeah,
walk away, you feel good, and
Yeah, yeah.
Like these ongoing, you know, there's different libraries that you said you where we kind of go in, the speaker there, right, and ask questions. So like, it's an ongoing kind of series, maybe the theme is around reconciliation. But here, having a chance to invite new members of town, like, well, learn about some history, some, history. It's an ongoing type of thing, it's part of education, literature.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yes.
Instead of like bringing this roots reconciliation, such a big cost.
Yeah.
Such a intense work too, right? Where you're just gonna do this.
And the library seems to be very interested in running events of all different types and every different age was involved. They seem keen on it.
Maybe we could put something in the Demon magazine that the chambers would keep. Oh, that's a good idea. Process of creating it, so I'm wondering. Maybe we could approach them up with.
Like an article rather than
Yeah. Free article.
Yeah.
Yeah. Learn an experience.
Yes. Because that will be very valuable because like it's, like you said, free advertising and then it would be something we could bring. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, because we drop those off to like all the organizations and events.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And they're shipped everywhere too, so.
Internet, you can, if you punch in something like reconciliation, then we might pop up there somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have event.
Just before we finish that, we turn on the spirit. There was a group of, that was the non-indigenous people who put that. And then, Marie said there were 2 other events where indigenous folks had taken the workshop. And we were supposed to, 2 weeks later, have the one where it's combined. But that unfortunately got postponed, so anyway, it will happen again, hopefully.
Okay.
It was very good, actually, it was thorough.
What?
Thorough. You kind of got squeezed inside out, turned inside out.
Yeah,
outside
yeah,
out.
that's how I found it when I went to the one in Winnipeg. Yeah, yeah, I found it hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was-
so like on a personal level, it was hard for me anyway.
Did TRC ever sent around a workshop, like the different communities and like the TRC in Winnipeg, you know,
Yeah,
the
the
center?
NTRC.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
They just hold their stuff, but
Yeah.
pretty much. I don't see
Yeah, I
them.
think once the TRC process ended, they kind of collected the information that was just
Oh,
it's
Yeah.
archived at the university. I think it was maybe some staffing it, but
Yeah, and then I think
not
they're
ongoing.
their new building and they're working towards a new building. And that's where most of their work is going right now. Okay, so we did,
Say before the meeting ends, quickly, thank you to Corey Lego. Lego donated the Newspeak.
okay, thank you, Corey.
The donation, and if anyone else wants to donate Newspeak, I'll keep making spew.
Get the Newspeak, so I don't have any of my own, so.
Thank you.
The question is, so for the work plan has to be approved, we have to approve the next meeting. So
Yes, we have to complete it next meeting so that I have it to take to council in May.
just so we know.
So I will update with everything we talked about today and go from there.
And we've updated, we kind of talked about the terms of reference and review calls to action for municipalities. We've got the information, but anyway, I guess we're gonna end the meeting, so. The work plan, we looked at most of it anyway, so the next meeting date is Monday, April 22nd, 11 PM here, 11 AM in council chambers. Sorry, I won't be here that Monday, I'm in training all week, 22 to the 22nd, so.
We got to all the
And then,
If we can't make it, then we'll bring in the journey to end first.
No.
We need to.
Motion to adjourn.